Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Again, we have a familiar face with us. He's been with us a few times. We have Chris Zurich, and he is the state coordinator for our SAD program here in Missouri. So thanks for joining me today, Chris.
I'm happy to be here.
So we have a program called the Youth Ambassador Program here at ACT Missouri. Would you explain what the Youth Ambassador Program is?
Certainly. So for a little over a decade now, we have provided opportunities for youth who are interested in prevention efforts to serve as statewide leaders. So these individuals are really, at the top of their game when it comes to prevention in their local communities, maybe in their schools, and they're interested in trying to prevent tobacco misuse, alcohol misuse. They're looking at traffic safety efforts. Really anything that goes around, building healthy youth, these students are able to actually focus on. And so for a little over a decade, we've been able to facilitate the growth of these leaders and are excited to kick off yet another year here this fall.
What are some of the projects that the youth ambassadors have done over the years? And I know there's a ton, but maybe a couple of your favorite ones.
Yeah, so each year we facilitate a year-long project. So when we bring our students in the fall for training, we talk about what they're seeing in their communities and in their schools as important topics to be discussing, and then we frame a project around that. So we try to keep everything really focused on what is actually happening using these students as our boots on the ground. So they will, throughout the course of the year, through their learning and activities and meetings, will build out this project. This past year with the 2019-20 year, because this year, of course, has been much more challenging, our students built out a comic strip. So they built a multi-frame comic strip that looked at vaping and e-cigarettes because they were really focused on the dangers of e-cigarettes because of their growing prevalence with our youth in Missouri. A few years back, the youth ambassadors really wanted to focus on building some resiliency skills in our younger students. So they wrote a children's book called Krog the Frog, which was all focused on building up those competencies for our younger students, or like third and fourth grade kind of students. So we've had a variety of different projects that they're doing, but it's really up to the youth ambassadors. And then we at ACT Missouri are able to facilitate that and really help to make it happen.
Yes, and if you're interested in the comic book, Chris did a live video on the comic book that is archived on our YouTube channel. So if you search for ACT Missouri, you can find that as well. So this year is going to look a little bit different. So can you explain to us how that's going to look?
Yes. So with the growth of our statewide chapter of SAD, which ACT Missouri manages, we are kind of roping in a lot of the youth ambassador activities into our SAD program. So we'll be able to utilize a lot of the SAD curriculum and projects within our trainings now, which is a really exciting opportunity. And we'll also be doing some alignment across the state now with how we select our leaders to make sure that we've got full and complete representation across the state, so that we really do have that boots on the ground, where we can send youth out to talk to community groups, to engage with, highway patrol groups, with police departments in their communities. So that's really a big goal of ours, is to get that regionalization started. And because we have so many SAD chapters throughout the state, and that number continues to grow every single month here in Missouri, we are certainly hopeful that we're going to get all of those individuals to truly be able to represent the whole state. We've also created some opportunities for student leadership positions, where in the past everyone was simply a youth ambassador and everybody worked as a team. We're also looking at designating some roles for students who maybe even want to go above and beyond that, in working on some, public relations and engagement activities. Maybe they want to work more on our events that we do, like when we bring our youth in for Prevention Day and Speed Card. So we're really trying to also facilitate their general leadership growth along the way, and try to, give them opportunities that focus on the skills that they want to build for their future careers.
Great. And what does the application process look like for the Youth Ambassador program?
So our application process is pretty straightforward. It's, the general questions. There is an essay that a student would need to write, listing out all of their professional academic achievements. And it's really kind of as simple as that. We don't want to make this a cumbersome process on anybody or burdensome. What we want are our best youth to come forward and be a part of this program. So their applications are pretty straightforward. Really encouraging anyone who is interested to fill out those applications for us. Send in a headshot, and we love to get announcements up on our social media and on our website when we selected those students of everybody that we've been able to get into the program for the year.
Great. And what does the timeline look like for applications and then the project starting and that kind of information?
Mm-hmm. Applications are opening up today, and then they close on May the 7th. So we have a couple of weeks of open application period. Then we will make announcements by May 14th of our selected individuals. So we'll get out a press release through ACT Missouri, send out information through SAD. Our youth do not actually begin their trainings and activities until the fall when the school year kicks back off. So we do typically bring our youth in for an in-person training to kick off the fall. We'll obviously have to see how things go this year. And then we conduct monthly meetings online with our youth. And then they do get to meet in person for Prevention Day in January and Speak Hard in March or April, depending on how it falls in the year. So there are a few in-person opportunities and then a lot of virtual ones. In those virtual meetings, we talk about pressing topics. If there is legislation that's come up that youth need to be aware of, if there are things that are happening across the state, maybe there's large incidents or something that we want to discuss, we'll do those in those meetings, and then we'll focus on that project planning and interacting with each other to build out that project plan.
Right. And I know 2021 was a challenging year, but yes, I'm also hopeful that that maybe we'll be able to get the youth together in person. We shall see. We always have Zoom though, so that's a good thing. If people have questions, I will put your email address into the chat box when we are finished. So I assume they can reach out to you and ask you any questions they might have.
Certainly, yes. More than happy to address any questions you have about the program. Do want to note that even if you're not an active SAD chapter, you can still be a part of our Youth Ambassador program. We also have virtual SAD chapter options. So if you have students who are interested, but you don't have an organization at your school for youth prevention, we can certainly get those students signed up for a virtual chapter. And they can still participate. But no matter what, we want the best youth, no matter what organization they're in. That's really our goal and our mission is to get those youth out here and build them up to be the next generation of prevention leaders.
Right. And we've had some really amazing youth throughout the year. And just I always have to give the little sentence of Chris was one of our first youth ambassadors when we started the program. So Chris has come full circle and now he's running the program. So it's really exciting. And of course, we're glad to have you. So thank you so much for joining me today and explaining the Youth Ambassador program.
Well, thank you for having me, and looking forward to seeing many youth this upcoming fall be a part of our program.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.